So how does all this translate to the campaign trail, which most people in the legislature are going out on in one form or another? How does this, especially for Democrats, what's valuable about what's come out of this session in an anti-incumbent atmosphere that's out there?
I think actually that all incumbents will be able to go out and take a strong record to the people and say, you know, we had problems and we found solutions to those problems. We had a budget gap that was $155 million, $156 million. And we figured out a way to close that gap by asking various people to pitch in and try to solve the problem. We put on a strong, stable fiscal footing our unemployment insurance trust fund, something that many other states have ignored. And in so doing, made sure that one of the most important social safety net programs that we have will be vital and viable for the next generation. We made investments in our energy future. We made investments in our transportation infrastructure. We made investments in new renewable energy development. I think that that's a record that we can take to Vermonters, and Vermonters are going to say, we sent you to solve problems, and you solve problems. And I think that's something that Vermonters will appreciate.
So does last year play into it at all? I mean, there's things you did last year. You showed political muscle last year. This year you showed compromise from strength, position of strength. I mean, do those mesh, or do you want people to forget last year? Do you want people to remember last year?
We'd like to forget last year. You know, this is what I'd say to the question, Nancy. I'm not sure you're going to see a strong anti-incumbent feeling in Vermont, because the anti-incumbent feeling comes from frustration that politicians in Washington, Vermonters accepted, our congressional delegation, you know, suffer from spine flu. They won't stand for anything. They won't do anything. They huddle under the covers with high fevers and hide when anything big happens or comes their way. I think what Vermonters want and what Americans want from their political figures right now is leadership. And we provided that leadership. We just set the groundwork to move Vermont to a healthcare system that can lead the rest of the country, getting the work done to design the system so that we can implement it if we choose. In response to a Congress that didn't give Vermont much on the healthcare front, we just set a national trend for our energy future that is the envy of the other 49 states, saying no to an old, aging nuclear power plant that is run by a company you can't trust. And so I think you combine that with the fact that we're fiscally responsible, we balanced the budget without raising taxes and already overburdened Vermonters, that we prove that we can work together, is going to make Vermonters simply say, I think these folks did well, let's send them back.
Nancy, I would say that you know, you take the 2-year biennium as a whole, and we did really strong work in the first year of the biennium. We laid the foundation for our energy future with a very forward-thinking renewable energy bill. We ensured that we would have the money necessary to make investments in our transportation infrastructure and ensure that we would have the state match so that when the feds had money available for our transportation infrastructure, we'd be able to draw it down. We met our commitment to all Vermonters through a strong statement about civil rights. I believe that our 2 years as a legislature are full of good, strong investments in the state of Vermont, and put us on a very solid footing for the future.